Good morning. This is Gina. I am blessed to be here with you today. I am the spiritual director of CSL Greater Boston, and it is a snow day here. So I am with you virtually from Rhode Island today. And up in the Northeast, I don't know where you're watching from, but we got about 2 feet of snow yesterday. So we are here, and I am grateful that we have lights and electricity, and I am warm here, and we are blessed to be here wrapped in spirit. So we are going to bring you some music, some beautiful prayer and message that is going to lift, and I know is going to motivate us into action to see the demonstration. That's what today's topic is. It is live the demonstration. Now, we are here at teaching science of mind, which combines philosophy, religion, and science. We are a philosophy that knows that we know. And we know it because of demonstration. And how do we do that? And how do we get to that point? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I am grateful that you are here with me. And along for the ride, we've got some wonderful people that are going to be coming in with a beautiful, Darlene with a beautiful reading, and Barbara Hewitt with some wonderful prayer. And it is going to be a fabulous service, albeit virtually. So I am grateful that you have me in your living room. From my living room, I am sending light and love in this oneness that we are all in, and in gratitude, knowing the perfect harmony that's coming forth. So the first song that I'm going to play is What Would Love Do Now by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Just before you say something you can't take away, take a breath, then let it out. Try to think about what would love do now. Wondering if you should cross that line for good. Whatever you decide, ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what will love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we die for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what would love do? Sing it from inside with me, y'all. What would love do now? Let me hear you sing it, people.
What would love do now?
Sing it one more time for me, y'all.
What would love
Do now. Thank you.
What would love do now? Knowing that each one of us is that. Love right here, right now, the beauty of all there is. And speaking of beauty, I am blessed to introduce for our invocation the luminous and absolutely gifted spiritual director of South Coastal Teaching Chapter, as well as the head of our the head of our Leadership Council, practitioner and amazing woman, Barbara Pewitt. Welcome, Barbara, and here we go.
Thank you, Gina. What a beautiful song. And what a beautiful morning. The sun shining and just glistening on this wonderful white wonderland. I just stand in this place of gratitude. Gratitude for being here in the warmth of my home, sending love and support to those that may not have electricity, wrapping them in the warmth of love. And so I give such gratitude also for this beautiful song, What Would Love Do Now? So as we just take a wonderful, beautiful breath, breathing into our heart space, feeling the expansion of our heart, of our capacity to love, feeling the vibration of love around, through, and as each one. As I stand in that consciousness of my oneness with the divine, my oneness with this magnificence that is this unconditional love, that is this vibration of love that creates and births from love as love. I know and claim that this is the truth of who I am. This, my divinity, is unconditional love. I stand in knowing that that is how I was created in the spiritual image and likeness of Mother, Father, Creator. And so as I know this is the truth of myself, I know it is the truth of each and every one in our sacred space of prayer this morning and the all. I know that each and every one is created from this love, is this love, stands as this love. And so I know that our service this morning is just opening up and unfolding in absolute perfection, for it can be no other way. Standing in this circle, knowing our oneness with each other, knowing that love that binds us, that lifts us, that empowers us. I know that all is unfolding in divine right action, in divine right timing. And for all of this, I am so grateful. I simply say amen and blessed be. And we affirm this word by saying together, and so it is.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you.
And for our wonderful words of wisdom for our reading this morning, we have our treasurer and the beautiful and youthful. I love the sweater. I love it. I love it. I love the cozy look.
Thank you. Okay, so we know today's theme is live the demonstration. And I found it really hard to focus in on that and find a story around that. And then as I was reading some of the teachers of religious science, I realized that this is actually not my job. This is Gina's job. She's going to do that for us. And then it got a lot easier. So I just looked at the Science of Mind. This is Dr. Holmes' text. This is our sacred guide in this particular philosophy. And he helps us because on page 174, he tells us when and what is a demonstration. So I'll share the definition from our founder. In the language of metaphysics, a demonstration is made when the thing is accomplished with the one treating, which the one treating desires to achieve, whether it be health, happiness, or abundance. A demonstration is a manifestation. It is prayer answered. When the word of a practitioner takes form, this is demonstration. When desire is given a subjective mold and then becomes objectified in the life of the one for whom the practitioner is working, this is demonstration. The practitioner, of course, gives thanks as he makes his demand on the infinite, knowing that supply and demand are one, and that his request is instantly manifest on the invisible plane. Before they call, will I answer, is the divine promise. We cannot demonstrate beyond our ability to mentally embody an idea. This is really an important part of this philosophy. We cannot demonstrate beyond our ability to mentally embody an idea. The argument is between our experience, what the world believes, and what we are convinced is the truth. It should be understood that we can demonstrate in spite of ourselves, in spite of all weakness, in spite of all fear, in spite of all that is in us, because such is the power of truth. We wait only for our awakened thought. The law is neither good nor bad. Law is and responds. The possibility of demonstrating does not depend upon environment, conditions, location, personality, or opportunity. It depends solely upon our belief and our acceptance and our willingness to comply with the law, through which all good comes. The universe will never deny us anything unless we conceive that it is possible for us to think of something that is impossible for the universe to produce. I guess he was being a little tongue-in-cheek there. Anyway, everyone who asks receives according to his belief. That's the definition by Holmes. And as I was looking at the different teachers, I found a quote by Michael Beckwith, founder of Agape, and that's in California. In any case, this particular quote, which is one of his popular quotes, you can find these everywhere, but this one, I think, tells me more about what it is to live in demonstration. Quote, I believe that you're great, that there's something magnificent about you, regardless of what has happened in your life, regardless of how young or how old you think you might be. The moment you begin to think properly, there's something that is within you. There's power within you that's greater than the world. It will begin to emerge, and that's when we start living the demonstration. It will take over your life. It will feed you. It will clothe you. It will guide you, protect you, direct you, sustain your very existence if you let it. And Beckwith says, now that is what I know for sure. And so it is. Thank you very much.
That's beautiful, Darlene. Thank you so much. And that reading from Holmes couldn't have been, that Ernest Holmes reading couldn't have described it anymore. Thank you. And before we get into our message, I am going to play Daniel Nahmon, Get Ready, My Soul.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
So we're diving in, and we're diving into living the demonstration. And I love what was, what does that mean? And I love that. Thank you, Darlene, for that. Well, I didn't need to figure all that out. That's Gina's job. I love that. and that's exactly what I sat there with. Well, how do I talk? Where do you begin? And what is a demonstration? That's where I begin. We believe these things. We have these truths that we call that. And how do we know that to be true? Why is it that I know it? When I think of truth, I think there's that part of me right in my gut that I know, and I know that I know. It was when I first heard it, it rung true to me. It's not because someone else said it. It's because I believe it. And, the reading from Ernest Holmes says, we must embody the idea. We must embody it. So what does that mean? So we're wearing that in every aspect of our beings. It's that belief. So let's unwrap that a little bit. Let's see what that looks like. What does that feel like? How do we begin? Because that's what it's all about is, we're a science. We talk about it has to be proved. We must live this in an active participation. We must put it into application and practice it. And the more that we practice it, the more things come about. So Ernest Holmes said there's a divine spark at the center of your being, but you need to recognize it. But you need to recognize this, believe it, and act upon your beliefs. So how do we recognize that? Well, we start with treatment. When we talk about affirmative prayer, it's a 5-step process that begins with just that. It's recognizing Spirit is. All there is, was, ever will be. We talk about those divine attributes of wisdom, love, joy, peace, harmony, and go on. We can say those words, but do we believe it? So we know that Spirit is all there is, and that includes me, which brings in the second step, which is unification. So if I am part of that all that is, which I am, because I don't exist outside of all there is, neither does anyone else. So that's where unification comes in, and I start realizing that everything that Spirit is accessible to me, is accessible to each one. And part of our principles are proving this again and again. We can see change. We can see what we call miracles happen every day. Well, those miracles aren't outside of us in the sense of we can call them forth. Healing doesn't just happen. There's something to that. Sometimes it just happens when we're not in a place of resistance to it, but we can call it forth and we can be that presence in a relationship. We can be that presence in our physical bodies. We can create things and attract things in amazing ways. And, it goes on. That's the realization part of that. That third step of treatment is where we claim what it is, not only what we know, but we put it into action. What does it look like? What does it feel like? That realization is where we make it real. That's where we talk about coming into this place and realizing who and what we truly are and give ourselves that opportunity. Debbie Ford said, when you're in awe of someone else's greatness, you're really seeing yourself. Identify what you admire about them, then nourish those thoughts, qualities in yourself. Rather than fixating on their brilliance, demonstrate your own. So if there's something that you see in someone that you think, wow, I want to be brave like that. I want to be able to, step forth and live my truth. I know I'm here for a reason. I want to live that purpose. I want to be fearless. Well, you already are. Whether or not you've recognized it, everything you've ever been, will be, could be, was born with you. Every bit of it. Nothing was added. It's not like you're baking a cake here. You're not adding water. You're not taking away an egg. You were given everything right where you are. You were born. We hold these infants for the first time, whether you're children, your nieces, nephews. You hold them and you see that infinite possibility, and trust that there were people that said and thought that about you. Perfect, right where you are. Amazing. Absolutely incredible potential. It was all born with you. Now the question is, are we living it? Do we go into that and really living that? So, and what does that look like? What does that look like? Ernest Holmes said in Sermon by the Sea, find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it, and I will live it, and who use it and live it as it is, and I myself live to see a new world, a new beacon, and a new earth. So it gives you the opportunity there to have this incredible new beginning. And he said, it's just 1,000 people. Now we're a lot more than that. When you think about how many people are in our movement, are in New Thought, are practicing truth now, just 1,000 people, and he will show us a new earth. We don't need to get to the point that we've convinced everybody. There's a lot of people right now that are living in fear, that don't know how to get out of where they are. They feel stuck. I know I've experienced it many times, especially over the past couple of years. We get these moments as if we forget, because that's what it is. It's a built-in forgetter sometimes. When we see the news, when we see what seems like separation, when we see people act in a way that we think, well, that's not demonstrating love. That's not demonstrating kindness. That's not demonstrating the best of all there is. And sometimes it isn't. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible. How many times have we had children or nieces or nephews, or some of us, depends on how old you are. It could just be friends, or you might have seen it. People that didn't seem to be living up to their potential. And then something changes. There's a shift. And, many times I have prayed for and known known what was there and was not distracted by what I was seeing. We know the truth of our children, whether they're demonstrating it or not. We know the truth of the people that we love, whether they're acting that way or not. It's about knowing it for all, regardless of what I see. So just like there wasn't anything put in me that's going to be, I was born with all I have, everybody else was too. But not all were taught it. Ben Franklin said, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. So involve me. What does that mean? Well, we're getting back to that treatment. We are in that place of third step realization, claiming and knowing what we know. That's where the belief comes in. And, the willingness and the acceptance to accept it. See, all that happens in that one step, that vital step of treatment, that middle part. The whole point of prayer is, what is it that I'm claiming from the world? What am I knowing? And that's the difference. I'm knowing it. I'm not beseeching, hoping to be worthy. If you have time to get around to me, I'm the person sitting here. No, that's not it. It's knowing as that infinite divine spark, that infinite presence, as the child and creation of the one creator. You were born worthy. You were born knowing. Your cells know how to heal. You are a magnet for life itself. What does that look like? What does that feel like? It doesn't always look the same for every person. It doesn't always come into experience in the same way. And you can know it, but it doesn't necessarily demonstrate in the same timing. Wouldn't it be nice if we claimed it, knew it, and it demonstrated right where it was? Sometimes Spirit has something higher and better planned, but it doesn't look like it. And I get frustrated because it doesn't look like I wanted to. Perhaps you're looking for that right and perfect mate, and they haven't shown up yet, and you're getting a little impatient, and it's getting a little frustrating here. I'm tired of this. Well, what if that perfect person is with someone else right now? I know someone that met the love of their life in their late 60s. And, the truth is, I've never seen a couple, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, was 70s. She was in her early 70s and he was 80. And you would never think, but they traveled for the past 3 or 4 years. They've traveled all over the place. They've driven all over the country. They've done so much more than I have in the past 3 years, living the life of her dreams in ways that she wasn't ready before she met him. Nor was he, because he was taking care of his sick wife for years. So he wasn't available yet. Her highest and best. Spirit knew all along. So sometimes it's that patience in allowing it to unfold, which is not always easy. I will be the first to admit. I am not the most patient of people at times. So I would rather see a student of this principle prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. So Ernest Holmes says, I want you to not just say it, but I want you to demonstrate it. It's acting as if sometimes to get to where we need to be. It's not about giving the fancy words or the flowery. It's about really believing it and let the miracles appear. What can you wrap your head around? So maybe you can't really wrap your head around $1 million, but could you handle 500? Do you think it's possible that $500 could come out of somewhere? I was speaking to someone earlier today, and we did a prosperity. We're talking. We have the vision board set for today. It's going to be postponed till next week, but it came out of Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus 3 class. We all saw demonstrations in that class. Amazing things happened. We were focusing on it. We were expecting it, and therefore it came forth. And then it slowed down for a few. And it was like, well, where did it go? When I was sure of it, when I was practicing it, it kept showing up. But when I stopped paying attention, all of a sudden. So we were talking about putting together a prosperity circle every week for half an hour and just coming together and practicing and preaching and being in that place of prosperity, just like the class brought about, so that I stay steeped in that. My feeling, my wavelength. See, there may be 1,000,001 stations, but if I am not tuned into it, there's 1,000,001 channels, but if I don't turn into the right channel, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to be able to receive it. So am I tuned into what it is in that realization that I've claimed? It doesn't matter how flowery the treatment is. Thank you is complete. If you really are at that place of knowing. So it's not about the words we use, but the feeling behind them, the belief, and the acceptance. So the next step is gratitude. Thank you. Thank you that it's received. Thank you for the knowing. Thank you. It's really knowing that I know and thank you. Because I'm already at that place of knowing that the law is the law. And as Darlene said, it is universal. The law is what it is and it responds, she had said in a reading from Ernest Holmes. So therefore, it's going to work because it can't work for you, but not me. It won't work for me and not you. It doesn't work that way. It is a law. It responds gravity isn't sometimes. It works the same way all of the time. So if it's that knowing, how do I shift myself to that place? It's practice, practice, practice. And just because you don't see something doesn't mean something amazing isn't happening. I love the example of bamboo, that for years and years you can wait and nothing happens. And then overnight, it could be 11 feet high. It just happens, and then it's done, and it's strong, and it's grounded, and it's as deep in the earth as it is above the earth, and it is grounded. So I ask you, are you grounded? Are you centering yourself around these truths regularly? Are you at that place of knowing? Knowing that you are a creative being. Consciously create what you want for yourself and the world. Think about that. Nina Amir said that. For yourself and the world. So are you consciously in this place of knowing, declaring, and expecting on a daily basis? What is it you want? It's not about complaining, it's about choosing and doing it in that way where we contemplate, we decide, we know, and we give it to Spirit for the highest. In gratitude, then release. Now, release doesn't mean I plant the seeds, and then when it's not there next week, next month, I start digging up the seeds and say, see, this isn't working. That's not belief. Belief is knowing that it's got it in the right timing, in the right and perfect divine timing for the highest and best. It is unfolding perfectly. I can't micromanage the when. I can't micromanage the how. None of that is my job. And every time I try to, I'm digging up the soil, which just destroyed the seed that I put down there. Faith of the mustard seed. So plant that and watch it grow. Watch amazing things come forth from it. God expects but one thing of you, and that is that you should come out of yourself and let God be God in you. So what does that mean? How do I let spirit shine? I truly believe that when you see someone shining, their light shining from their eyes, that's spirit. I have never known anyone that's eyes were shining light that wasn't steeped in spirit. There's something different about really being in spiritual truth, about having faith. There's a connection on the inside that lights up and can shine through any seeming darkness. That light within me has carried me through so much stuff in my life. Stuff. It happens. 2 feet of snow. It happens. Could be financial stuff. Could be health stuff. Could be family stuff. Things happen to the people that we love and we don't know why. And you know, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be frustrated. I have yelled at God more times than I can count. And that might sound blasphemous to some, but do you think Spirit doesn't know my heart? Spirit doesn't know when I'm angry, when I'm sad? Because usually the anger turns into, it's really about being sad or disappointed. And then it turns to sad. Any parent with love in them wants to wrap those children up when they're crying and give them anything and everything. But the last part is acceptance. If you don't feel worthy of it, it cannot come to you. Doesn't matter what you're putting out there. If you have not realized your worth, that you are a divine child of that one creator that could not be loved any more than any other, because you were born with that. If you don't realize it, if you don't utilize it, if you don't remember it, it cannot come to you. It cannot come through you, because you're the one calling it forth. Do not bring a Dixie cup to the ocean. Jump in, the water's fine. There is absolute abundance of life waiting for you in incredible ways, but it must be lived through you. Trust that it will. What we demonstrate today, tomorrow, and the next day is not as important as the tendency which our thought is taking, the dominant attitude of our mind. If every day things are a little better, a little happier, a little more harmonious, a little more health-giving and joyous, if each day we are expressing more life, we are going in the right direction. That's what it's about. Going in the right direction. You don't climb a mountain in an hour. There's nothing worthwhile that's going to happen just blink of an eye. Sometimes it does. Sometimes I love the idea of it's in escrow. I believe that's Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, that talks about escrow. When you're knowing it, you're cheating, you're knowing it hasn't shown up yet. It's in escrow. And when those floodgates open, that good is coming to you. Just know it. It's in escrow. Every time you put that prayer in, every time you do that spiritual work, it's an escrow. And it's there waiting. And be excited. Be excited for that good, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. Be in that enthusiasm of driving that new car. Being in the excitement of being wrapped in the life that you choose to live. And allow Spirit to live it through and as you in magnificent ways. To what do we really commit ourselves? Is it to playing it safe and manipulating our life and our whole world so that it will give us security and confirmation? Or do we take refuge in warriorship, in taking a leap, and going beyond our usual safety zones? Hema Shogun. So take that risk. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I truly believe that. That's where excitement, enthusiasm, that's what life is. Enthusiasm is putting excitement into and taking it out of. So really be in that place of knowing and knowing that you know. This is a science that needs to be put in, but you can't skip one of the steps and think that it's going to come true. So as the final step, as we release it, expect that demonstration. Where is my good? Where's that good today? And look for it in different forms. It doesn't always come the way we want it to. It doesn't always just show up the next day. Sometimes the phone will ring as soon as you've done the treatment. You never know. And some things are easy for us to demonstrate and some things seem harder. It's about where we're at in our own comfort zones of life. But there are spiritual teachers that are here, practitioners that can work to remove seeming blockages. Schedule a session with a practitioner. Give yourself that opportunity to have spiritual healing without having to go into the whole, well, what did I do, and beat yourself up or anything like that. Sometimes there's things that were in our childhood that were taught to us and we're still carrying and we don't know it. We can heal those false beliefs in amazing ways. And sometimes the best way to do that is to allow someone else to do it. And be in that place of knowing and knowing that you know. You get that opportunity. Spirit as you is absolutely magnificent. It's time to live as that. Be that. Choose that again and again. So I ask you, what will you create? We have a vision board workshop that was supposed to be today. A little bit of snow, 2 feet of snow. And we're going to do that next time instead. Sorry, wrong slide. So we are doing it next week. It's been rescheduled for next week. So if you can be there in person, wonderful, be there with us. It's a large hall. It gives you the opportunity, so it's right after service gets over at 11. We start at 11:30. You can do it via Zoom wherever you are in the world, 11:30 Eastern time. What is your intention? What have you put out there into the ethers, and what are you expecting in return? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And how do we get there? So we will talk more about demonstration as we create our vision boards. Start having that visual demonstration of what it is we choose. Know that I know the power within you is miraculous, and that I cannot wait to hear about your miracles of manifestation. Miracles are just simply acts that happen as a result of this knowing. It's an everyday occurrence. Live in that. And in that knowing, all is well. All is well. And as I always say, you're in the right direction because it feels good. So practice, 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 and stay on that track. It's worth it. Your life is worth it. So I thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm going to go into a couple of announcements, and we will be back in person. Of course, we will be back in person next week. And we are using plenty of social distancing and masks. Know that we are there, and it is a safe experience. And I invite you into our sacred giving affirmation. The law of circulation is what we give must come back. And I invite you to say this with me today. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And that circulation is in many forms. Know that this center is here because of people like you. What you give in everything, we know everything has its expenses. And what you give comes full circle, goes right into what it is that we do. So I truly encourage you to, circulate. When you're expecting good to come, you must put it back out there. So whatever it is that you have, we can accept that through virtually, through PayPal, and there's a little PayPal scan code there. It's PayPal me, or you can use the email address, or you can text to give at 833-581-0669. And you can text to give one time, or you can even set up for a regular giving on a weekly basis. So I thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And we have our closing treatment, which is going to be by our beloved Barbara again. And I wanted to invite you to fellowship. It's so important that we get together, especially when we can't get together. So this is our fellowship. You can join us. If you're not already getting our newsletter, please go onto our website, cslboston.org. Thank you, Chris. He even had that snow information up there. We will always have any kind of snow information on our website as well as on our Facebook page. But this is how you can find us. There's a link on Facebook to get to fellowship. This is the meeting code and passcode, and we would love to see you. So if you're able to stick around, join us. I'm in the Northeast. We really can't go far. There's still a whole lot of snow out there, and roads aren't quite ready yet. So stay put and grab something warm to drink and join us. We also are global now. At 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we are on New Thought Media Network. So if you have people anywhere all over the world, they can find us on New Thought Media Network at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as these recordings are always on YouTube and Facebook. And we have a wonderful class from Dr. Tony LaMotta, who is going to be giving that. It's going to begin, it is Conscious Aging Connection, beginning on the 16th of February. And you can go to her site to connect. It's on our Facebook page. We'll give you the link, but it's tonylamotta.com. And she is incredible. What a wonderful way to look at it differently. Because when the things we look at them differently, they change. It's just how it works. Thoughts are things. And when we're looking at and speaking of it differently, amazing things happen. And our last announcement is we do visioning, this wonderful spiritual practice on Mondays at noon. Come and join us. And there's a link here also on our website, as well as in the weekly newsletter and Facebook as well. And amazing things happen when you vision. It is so much bigger than just what would I want. It's Spirit's view. And Spirit is infinite, so much bigger than we can imagine. So I am going to bring in our beautiful Barbara Hewitt for our closing treatment. And right after that, we are going to have a song that'll take us off for the afternoon. So I look forward to seeing everyone in fellowship. Barbara, I give it off to you.
Thank you. And thank you, Gina, for those wonderful words of inspiration and motivation. Thank you for a beautiful message today. So once again, we are going within. Just spending a moment letting go of anything and everything before this moment, standing in the inspiration of the music and of Gina's message and of being in the sacred circle together for this service, this circle of love, this circle of empowerment. I stand in that consciousness. I stand in the consciousness of knowing that I am one with each and every one, as I am one with the divine. I stand in knowing that I am created by it. I am created by this essence of love, by this vibration of love that is around, through, and as me. And I live and move and have my life within it. And so I know that I stand with this spark of the light of the real, of the one light, the one flame. I stand as this presence. I allow it to flow through me and emanate from me. I stand in the knowing of my own divinity, my own magnificence, and my own power to co-create each desire, each want, each thing that we are interested in co-creating in our life experience at this moment in time, right here and right now. And so as I know and claim this truth of myself, I know it is the truth of each and every one. I know, see, and feel the divinity of each one. I know that each one is standing in the consciousness of openness to know their own power of prayer, their own power of co-creating with the divine, their own ability to be in that flow, to allow demonstrations to flow through each and every one. And so I know that the clarity of treatment is just flowing to them, and they are living it. I know each one is standing in the reality of the truth of this philosophy and this belief and this faith and this way of life, living at each moment of every day. I know that each one stands in the truth that they are a demonstration of the divine, of spirit, of the universe. And so they live as that demonstration with the ability and the power to stand in demonstrating for their life experience, for those that they love, holding each and every one in the consciousness of their own perfection. I know as we stand in treatment for each other, we are lifting each other to the highest and best. And so standing in faith and belief is the way of life of each and every one. And for all of this, I am so grateful. I am so grateful to see, feel, and know this as the truth of each one. I am so grateful to be in this profound state of knowing this is truth right here and right now. And from this place of profound gratitude, I simply breathe this into the law of spiritual activity. I know it is so, and I stand in convicted faith. I stand in that strength of this faith and this philosophy, and I surrender it. I let it go. I place it onto the law, the altar of the law. In that peaceful place of knowing, it is complete. I simply say, amen and blessed be. And we affirm this word by joining together and saying, and so it is.
Shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us. Reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us. Rising up beyond a hush. Yeah. We feel it. We feel it. Yeah. We see it. Believe it, it's spirit. Spirit, you're the breath in us, breathing all of us right here. Spirit, you're the grace in us, calming every fear right here. Spirit, you're the peace in us, spreading out across the world. Spirit, you're the power in us, flying like a flag unfurled. Believe Spirit, you're the love in us, reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us, rising up beyond us.